Hello, what's up and welcome back to the channel. How are you guys? How are you guys? We hope you're good. We hope you're doing good. We're well. We're not gonna waste a lot of time. We're just gonna jump straight into this video. So just quick housekeeping rules. Okay. If you haven't, if it's your first time and you're really liking us so far, subscribe. If you've been coming back but you haven't subscribed, just subscribe. You know you like it. And yeah, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time there is an upload. Other than that, we are super ready to begin this one. This one obviously another inspired video, and we just thought, you know, sometimes people see really like the finished product, for lack of a better word. They see a finished product and they don't understand that before this there were other situations obviously that we been in. Yeah, a journey. And I think coming from places like that where we were hurt, which we're going to be open about, where we were disappointed, you know, by people, and we just went through life like everybody goes through life. And I think it's those situations that make you give up on love, or give up on human beings as a whole. But I think we thought it would be best for us to share our past so that you can probably even relate and have hope again. So yeah, if it sounds like your thing, grab a cup of tea, you know, it's gonna be nice, some scones, some something. And yeah, let's get straight into the video.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go for it.
Let's do it. So I called Happy on this one because obviously the Holy Spirit was like, we must do this together, you know, it's not only me. We both have backgrounds where for him, just before we met one another, for him it was a little bit more intense, you know. Yeah, shame, you know what, shame. Yeah, people put my husband through the most. But I think also for me, my experience was also different. But when I met him, I had a lot of things to break down, a lot of things to break away. Maybe you can start. Yeah. Like what happened before you met me, when you met me. And did you ever at one stage feel like I'm shut?
For me, I would say not yet. Reason being because of what happened. So yeah, I was in the wilderness. It was bad.
What year was this?
It was dry. I think it was 2014 going to 15. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We met in 15.
Because we met literally December.
And that's when I was fried. Alright, so what happened is that there was a lady. I can't believe I'm talking about other ladies next to my wife. Anyway, so yeah, what happened is that there was a lady, a church. So yeah, what happened is that things didn't work well. For some reason, the lady just changed out of nowhere, and then it just didn't make sense, and I tried my best. So for me, I'm not giving up top. I said to myself, if she says no, I will. And then God said, look, Kevin, if someone is rejecting your love, rather let it go. And for me, it was the hard thing as well, because it didn't make sense. But God.
So you liked her, she didn't really like you back.
She did, however, with time she changed. She became nasty at the end, and I just didn't understand why. So I even asked her why. She's like, no, it's just not happening. So what happened is that I had dreams and hopes, and I slowly saw my hopes and dreams fading away because of what she did and what she said to me. And I said to myself, God, you see, I put my heart out there, and then she does this, and then God said, look, it's fine, Kevin, heal. We will see from that. And for me, I didn't know that this time I'll be sitting next to my wife and sharing this story, because for me, when she came to me, I told her, I said, dude, I'm in this space whereby I'm figuring myself out, I'm healing, we'll talk about that, I'm healing. I don't think I will be able to be functional in this relationship if we'll start. And then she said, look, take your time, I'll be here. So she was bold, and I was like, all right, if a lady will wait for me to go through my stuff. And then I said to myself, let me give a chance. For me, it was the first step, so I had to see, but okay, the next lady that I'm going to, will she do the same thing that she did? Because I literally was ready. I said to myself, were you
afraid that I'd be different?
I was afraid. The human part of me was afraid the human part of me, I was like, God, I need to seek you more because I'm not going
I mean,
through
I
that
beg you to
growth.
die.
She was hardcore. He's like, if you die, you die. I'm like, what? It's nasty out there. But this was confirmation in me seeking God for an answer. Because I said to myself and God, I said, God, if I'm going in, I have to go in all out. And for me to go in all out, it has to come from you. And what happened is that I prayed. It was like 6 months. I prayed. I said, God.
Yeah. He took a long time.
happening?
Like we were together. We did speak and say, look, we'd really like to do this thing exclusively.
Yeah.
But because we had found ourselves literally coming out of messy situations, the both of us, Kev's healing was slower than mine. And his was also more intentional than mine, because I'll tell you a bit of my background in a bit, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So we were together and we spoke openly like adults to say, look, dude, I really want to do this, you know, but I want to do this with a clean start, with a clean heart, and yeah, like just give me the time, you know, not necessarily the time like you know, we are in this together, but in terms of us committing. That is the time that we took. Yeah. So we didn't just jump straight into relationship. We spent at least 6-7 months together before we actually started our relationship, which was 2.5 years before we got married.
That's true.
Yeah. So want to say my side?
Yeah. Tell them about yours.
So my side, okay. So my side, when I had met Kev, I had come out of a really strange relation. It's very, I mean, you know, in 2015, the relationship was more toxic than it was hurtful, you know, if I can put it that way. I think, if I can be honest, and I think my urgency, the urgency for me was like I needed to get out of that, because that is bad, you know. So as much as, you know, when you're in a relationship with someone and you know, oh man, this person was my buddy, oh bitch, I'm gonna lose a friend. It wasn't even about that anymore. It was like, at some points I felt like, yo, I just need to be sane in my mind, and I need to come out of this alive, you know. So for me, that was the intensity. It was more for myself, my mental health, my well-being, my emotions, I think my life in its entirety. So me getting out of there was like more just releasing frustration, because yeah, I mean, we all have issues as people, you know. I think when the person that I had been with at that time had their own stuff, dealing with their own stuff, you know. And I you know, when you meet people, their issues creep up, and sometimes it's not even about you. It's just about what they've been through in their lives, their family stuff, you know, that you might not even have been aware of, and the things that had tormented them before, and those things were starting to sprout. Me being the kind of person that I am, you know, I also felt like in certain situations I wasn't understanding emotions. I didn't understand the extent of depression from other people, because I just was like, oh, you're too emotional. Honestly speaking, obviously now that we're more educated because of platforms like social media, where they teach you about mental health, and you realize, okay, but for me at that time I didn't know, which is fine, you know. But I was just not there, because as much as someone else was going through their stuff, it was also affecting me as a human being. So it was very terrible, and I think it was getting very messy, to the point where now my family is being involved in this stuff, and I was like,
that's bad.
I ain't got time for that. I'm out. So having left that situation, I wasn't necessarily broken. Like, I wasn't, oh my gosh. No, I was like, Jesus,
I'm free.
I'm out. Like, thank you, you know. And I needed to get out of that. So when I met my husband, I was just like, I had already, because of what I knew it was. And I read a book when I met my husband, December. I was reading a book, because I do like reading books. I haven't been reading a lot as much lately, but I was reading books often. And there's a book, its name is, or the name of the book is called A Love That Counts. And this A Love That Counts was dealing with people like that, who, you know, how this lady was also in an emotionally abusive relationship because someone else had their own issues. And from that book I found so much like peace and so much understanding, because understanding also brings healing, even if you don't have to have a conversation with a person like that. And then after that I was like, no man, it's fine, you know. So coming out of that, and I think that was like around September, early October, December 2015. Then I'd met you December 2015. So yeah, that was my thing. I think me giving you a chance was because I was
Yeah,
like,
I was about to ask you.
yeah,
what
me giving you a chance is because I saw something different. And when I had met you, it was just very different. And I say that all the time because I'm like, you're not like, you know, like, you know how some guys can be sometimes. But I was like, this guy's a little different, you know. And I liked it. I liked the peace that you brought, the peace that you came with. Yes, you had your own stuff, you know, and you were feeling your own emotions, you know, through what you went through. But never once did you ever lash out at me because of what someone else did or because you were still healing in the process. I think you guarded your heart in a way that was best for you. And I think that was it, you know. I think for me, I was just like I said, I was honestly at that point, I'm like, hey, if I die, I die. Like, we've been in relationships, I mean, it's not gonna kill me to try again. I think I had walls up because of other things that people teach you. People teach you that, you know, the infidelity in a relationship is inevitable. People teach you that, you know, people make you feel insecure because you're always being compared to the next lady, the next person. People make you feel so many things, and I was afraid of that. But I remember the one day where I sent you an email, and I remember it was Guguzulu, yeah, the race car driver, when he passed on, and his wife obviously was speaking, I think at his funeral, or someone was reading, but they were obviously documenting their love, you know, so deeply, and I'm like, yo, imagine this lady, she loved her husband to the fullest. She never missed out on an opportunity to give love. If anything, she was mourning the fact that she won't be able to give love anymore, and not that she withheld. And I said that to myself, I'm like, yeah, why am I going to sign up to withhold because of what someone else did to me? Why don't I just give? And like, dude, if I give, I give. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. Like, I'll heal. God, you've healed me before. I'll heal. It's okay, but I don't want to miss out on an opportunity because someone else hurt me. Now you must pay for it. You know, you deserve 100% of me, like the other person who didn't do the best. I gave 100% to, you know. So I was like, for me, that was like the turning point where I was just like, okay, people are dying, and I'm not even being funny. People are dying, and they wish they could love their partners one more time. I'm not gonna be that person with regret, you know.
I think also one thing I'm picking up from us, the common denominators, that we sat down, we were honest with each other. And saying, look, dude, I'm not 100%, but I'm willing to be 100%. Also, for you being understanding and caring as well, let this be a journey whereby patience will be applied. Not only just saying, okay, after 3 months, then I'm ready. Because many people that are in the relationships, they do things based on what happened in the past. So if you think of decisions that makes you to act in a certain way, it's because of what other person did before. Like for instance, if someone misused your money, so when you give someone your card and the PIN code, and like, no, I'm not going to give you. Always ask yourself, why do you always say no? And where does it come from? Because there's always a source to it. And if you can trace that source, bring it to God and say, God, I need to heal. I need to start the relationship, you know, on a clean foundation and a solid one as well. Because if you don't talk, trust me, this thing will cripple.
Because I feel like a lot of us are, like you say, like, you know, a chippies, like, or like, I don't know what else to call it, but like a chippy, like a dough. When you take it on the ground, you put it in the sand, it picks up the sand, then it picks up the leaves, and then you put it in the water, it picks up the water, and you put it in the mud, and then we come into relationships like that. And I know that we are imperfect people, but when you come with your scars from the past there without having healed, you're really going to be a hard person for your partner to love, because I don't believe there's something wrong with you. I don't think that. I think it's just our experiences have taken away the purity of what really love should be and what relationships should be. Because at its core, relationships should be a place where there is peace, a place where there is good communication, a place where it's an incubator for good love, and the love of God to flow through. It should be a place of joy. It shouldn't be a burden. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be a burden. I don't understand people who are dating and they feel like, yo,
because I always ask myself, if you're saying, and then why is it like that? Why is it not like jolly going home or going to see your partner and saying, I'm excited, I can't wait to see that person.
Because
also you mentioned something that I usually tell people, in my place, also workplace, my patients. So I'd see them go through the most and all that stuff, and the advice that I would give them, I'd say, look, take your time, heal, go through the process and the stages, because if you don't, it'll catch up with you. So I tell them, look, heal and learn to date yourself again, because if you don't date yourself, it's going to be hard for you to date someone else. If you don't love yourself, how will someone else love you, and how would you know that this is the right kind of love that I'm supposed to receive?
Like how, when you say that, because I know people say that,
how do you date yourself? That's number one. Love yourself fully. Take care of yourself. Take yourself out. I know it might be strange going out for dinner or spoiling yourself with those small things. Invest in yourself. There's things that you'd like to do that adds value to you, and also looking into your purpose and function as well. Focus more on that. So let the guy find you busy with your purpose and function, and in that you are dating yourself. In that you are saying, look, I'm number one priority now before someone else come. And with all of that, by the time the guy comes, you already know what works for you. You already know you prefer pink flowers than red flowers. So you need to do that. You definitely need to.
I think it's a, like you're saying, it's a level of, that's really good what you touched on. There's a level of knowing yourself that you should have, you know, before you enter something. What else did you want to say?
Yes, and also when you date yourself, you discover things that are nasty about you, and also things that you haven't healed. And it helps you to have self-introspection, and you sit down and you go back to your history in the past and saying, look, what happened in this? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling anxious if my partner hasn't called me for over 8 hours? And yes, by the way, so why would you feel like that? Because what happened in the past? So ask your questions, ask those questions pertaining yourself and what happened in the past.
I guess, you know, I like the fact that you said introspection, because that's the most important. I think for me, like coming from other relationships, or just situations where you thought you were with someone, you know, and you thought it was going to work out, you know, obviously I've been cheated on in certain situations, and that can make you feel like you're not good enough. So you reflect and you take out what you couldn't take out on that person, you know, to the next person. And I'm just grateful to God that one day He stopped me in my tracks in terms of dealing with insecurities, to the point where there was this confidence, and I think maybe if I can say, people say Godfidence, like confidence that I had that, you know what, I am me, like, and I'm not shading Samantha who's looking like 100 and like, oh, she's flames, but that's Samantha, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be feeling somehow just because that's how most of the beautiful, that's how other women are looking and they're beautiful at it. Now I must follow that just to feel like, okay, I'm part of it. No, I'm me, and you need to like me for me.
That's true.
And if you don't like me for me, it's okay. I'm not gonna fight you. Why must I fight you? Like, if you don't want me, it's alright. So sharp. And you know, some people were shocked at the other. Like, I've been in a situation where with someone and he cheated, and thought I'm gonna make a fuss and why cheated. I was like, no, man, you're welcome to go. Like, in fact, we already know that this is like done, because you know, obviously you're not invested, and it's okay. Like, there was no fit thrown, and I think homeboy was a little shook that she was like, how.
You're not fighting.
Yeah, you're not fighting. I'm like, but why must I fight? I'm not wanted by you, and that's okay. I think sometimes that honesty is fair to have. It's fair on my emotions to say I'm not gonna now, like always now, you know, be no. For my emotional health and my sanity, I'm okay with not being good for you. I will be good for you. You know, because he's here now, not someone else, but I'll be good for him. You know, so for me, those are the things that I think it's really important, that we do go through stuff in our lives. It's tough, guys. We've all been heartbroken. We've all felt like we haven't been good enough. I know people go through the worst, where the abuse is physical. You know, not to count out emotional abuse, because I believe that also affects you in some way and affects a lot of people. I'm grateful to God it didn't affect me. Or in that way, because I think I have such a bit of a strong character that I don't put up with nonsense. I'm like, you're mad, and I'll tell you that you're crazy, you know. But other people feel like, you know, no man, maybe it's me, and they don't get out of that. And when they come out of certain situations like that, it's really bad for them to recover again and even trust the next person again. And I think maybe our heart is not saying you're not gonna walk blindly, into the next, you know, relationship. But if someone is treating you well, you know, give them the opportunity to love you the way they desire. Because sometimes you're the one who is stopping your own happiness from happening.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, because I mean, you're too hurt that you can't even see when someone's doing a good thing. You
Like
question
true,
everything. There's that meme that my sister once put up that my husband loves. He says sometimes at me, and you know, when someone like looks at you, and I'm like, "Yee, what?" You know, but I want to beg it because he's admiring you when now you're ready to fight,
like
and that's how it is. Yeah, wanna fight. Healing from past hurts. How do we do that? I think my take would be, in terms of practicality, how do you heal? For me, I'm not gonna lie, guys. One of the greatest things that I have asked for, and I know it might sound cliche, but I'm just asking you to hear me out. I'll give you other practical ways. But because pain is such a thing that nobody really knows how to fix, we always like to substitute other things, physical things, to really fix an inside pain. And guys, there's no medicine that will get to the source of your pain, you know. There's no doctor that will do what God can do. And I remember the first time I got out of a breakup or whatever, and I was like, yo, I understand, but all I knew was to say, I'm like, I've never experienced this before, but I was just like, Lord, please can you heal me? I prayed that prayer. Literally, I prayed that prayer, and it was like almost all the time, every day. I remember the one time I was sitting watching TV, and I'm like, Lord, please heal me. When you take substances or drink alcohol, it's a temporary thing. We've all been there, done that, so I know what I'm talking about. My thing is, it's temporary. And the funny thing is that, in fact, you're in your feels. Now you're dialing. You're supposed to be healing, but you're dialing, you're here. So it doesn't make sense. Like, if we're being truthful. So I felt like that stuff is just it's like a cover-up. If not, it's making things worse, because when you wake up the next day, you're like,
where did I go? Messages, wait,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, no guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the worst thing about alcohol ever. It's a trap. So for me, I just felt like if there's gonna be any work done, it's going to have to be, first, God, please help me out. Yeah, that's for me is my first one. I don't know if you want to say anything.
True, it is. For me, I would say first identify. And identifying, it doesn't have to be you. It could be your partner, the new partner, and then he will tell you, my guy, I think you need to deal with this issue. Don't take it as an offense. They care, but make sure that they do care, because sometimes they will tell you, and then but if someone truly wants to build with you, they will tell you, look, I'm picking up this thing about you, so let's heal, or let's find a way forward with this. And then you can go to the point and saying, God, I have a problem. Or sometimes when you worship and then God will reveal things to you, I'm like, hey, because what happens is that God will show you a picture of what happened back then. I'm like, okay, but why? But the more you spend time, the more God will reveal things to you. But mostly it comes when you talk, when you just vent out. So after that, you go to God and saying, God, I'm laying down my life. And the third one is that get a supportive structure. I usually say that, and what do I mean by that is that if it means that you were physically abused, or could be also sexually abused, get some help, because I see people that they settling for less in the relationship simply because they don't want to be close to a guy because they did things to Bona while they were young. So
but on the fact that we're saying get some help, I think there are things that also us as Christians we make the mistake of. There are things that we can pray about. There are other things that need help. Right? There are other things that need you to be active towards seeking help, because I've realized for myself bit by bit, I understand every day that if I can talk about something, then I'm better. And so chances are the issues are still there. But I'm learning that about myself, that although it's hard for me to talk about certain things, when I do it, it's like, oh, that feels great. You know, get the help that you need, you know. Sometimes we might not be able to, and I was actually thinking of this while you're talking, you know, sometimes we heal from being able to have a conversation with the person who hurt us, but sometimes we are not awarded that. And many times I've been in that situation where you can't even ask the person, but why did you do this, you know, or how, why? And by the time you want to do it, it's too late, you know. So you need to learn to release. And when you release things, you're not releasing in anger or bearing it, but or let me say suppressing it, but you are releasing in love,
Yeah.
or in saying, look, I may not ever,
That's good.
you know, get the chance to say this, but it's okay. You know, some of the stuff we might not have answers to as to why the person did this or why the person didn't like, or whatever. We might not have that, and we can't let that keep us imprisoned, you know, because that stuff can really be a hindrance.
Good.
So talk about it. Even talk about you talking about what you can't talk about to that person in particular. If I speak to a friend maybe about something, they might be able to give me a certain understanding of maybe what that person was going through, because sometimes it's all about perspective, you know, and just understanding, you know, why. For me, a lot of my healing came from understanding why the person did that, and I don't even have to speak to them. I just got that revelation, you know, from just understanding, oh, okay, now I see this is why they did it, and it's fine. Like, you know, I can meet these people and I'll be like, oh, sup, okay, sure, get in nothing. Yeah.
For us just to sit down and have this is because we've seen many people being in prison for something that happened in the past. You might find out also that person that hurt you, where you still holding on to that insecurity, and I've seen it close. So that's why I'm saying to you, look, just heal and move on from it and give love a second chance. And also see also as well, Guti, is the hindrance with you and with the other person. So give love a chance.
Yeah, I think for me, what sparked this is like the one day I just tweeted a tweet that says, when you get the opportunity to love again, do it. And I'll put obviously I'll show that picture now, and I think the response for that, I didn't even expect it to have the kind of response again. I'm talking thousands of responses, and also many of the people were saying, and easy, you know, and also some other people like, yeah, hey, look, if I die, I die, you know, they're like, might as well. But for me, it came from what I had done, and to see other people's coldness towards a situation because they had been hurt. And that's something, that's why I thought it was important for us to show that we have come from situations where we had faced rejection, we had faced obviously people not respecting or wanting us, you know, disrespecting us, people who were really by default, or for lack of a better word, not good for us in our lives as individuals. And we obviously, guys, we've been in other relationships before this, but because we decided to get back up again one more time and say, look, I'm going to give this a fighting chance, like Kev was saying, that, you know, do it, because there are many people who are treating their partners well. I do get some people aren't really nice people, you know. If people are not treating you well, leave the situation, please. But if someone is really treating you well, guys, and if someone is really trying, then try, you know. Don't allow, hey, one hater, so therefore, hey, yeah,
I'll never laugh again.
You know what I'm saying? And personally, that was my story. Like, someone was like, no, if I don't marry you, I'll never get married. I'm like, Chief, mina I was like, I hadn't even met Kev yet. I'm like, hey, mina shala in your wilderness, hey, I'm getting out of this joint, you know. So those are the things that you really can't tie your entire destiny in life because of what one person did to you. Guys, we're going to get it wrong many times in our lives. We're going to get it wrong. We're going to meet people who might seem good, but they're not good for us. They are good for other people. They are just not good for us. Do you know what I'm saying? And they work well for other people. But you can't now disqualify yourself or disqualify and let the next guy lose or the next girl lose because because you know you still haven't healed. Allow yourself to heal and get the courage to do it again. When you see that the space is a safe space, give it a shot, guys. Give it a shot. You don't know. I mean, if I withheld love, I don't think we'd be in this position, you know. And I always go back to the fact that, you know, God also risked it all. He was never guaranteed the fact that we would love him back. So if he could love us with an unconditional love like that, we also need to learn to love unconditionally in certain aspects. So it's just encouraging to say, I know you see it and it's worked out and whatever, and I know that we'll always be able to go back and speak about these things. We're not speaking bad about the other people that we've been with. It's just our experience with them, and your experience with someone else might not be the same. Even if you have to go back to the very same person, it might be great. So that's something we're not bashing one another, because it just didn't work out at that time. But for what it's worth, give it a shot, because when it works out and when you've healed and you give it 100%, I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. So yeah, so that's why we're here, the pair of us, just to encourage you in that way, to speak about realness but encourage you in truth. Yeah. So that's it from us.
Oh, yes.
Hope that you guys have enjoyed that. I know you guys, some of you like to ask questions, so feel free to comment below if you have anything, and we'll do our best to answer the questions that you might have. But if you've enjoyed this video, like I said, give it a thumbs up and share it. Give it to someone who you know also who might need this as well. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We appreciate you so much. And then we have to keep our promise, because we did reach 1K. So we have to see what we're gonna do as a giveaway.
Alright.
Let's try it. Let's give it a shot. So we'll sort something out. We'll sort something out, because we've been seeing you guys support us. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. Take care, guys. May God bless you. We love you lots. Bye.